Hey guys, back with another self-review and summary of our games from TwitchCon. This time it's the qualifier, so let's hop right in. So this is game one, and in game one, unfortunately, we didn't get like an overview of where everybody's rotating and how they're setting up in the end game, but we landed pleasant, split with one team who went tree and blue garage, and we took gas, dog, shit, and brick, and then we tried to engage them, but they turtled inside a blue garage. So we just backed off because we thought it wouldn't be worth it. We ended up rotating randomly around the north side of the map through the first two circles and get a decent amount of mats and an okay loadout, but not the best. So we rotate back and end up under this hill on the north side of the circle, closest to Pleasant. We're just mountain goating, and unfortunately we already see the same issue that I talked about in the grand finals, where we're not too high and we're super congested, so it's really hard to find shots. You can see in the kill feed here I made a mistake and ended up letting Bumpa get knocked because of it, and after that we get splode splammed to all hell, but I somehow managed to get Bumpa up by spending 80% of my already weak map pool. So let's talk about that mistake I made. Alright, so this was basically the position our mountain goat was in, and there was a bunch of congestion, so we couldn't really see out this end. We couldn't get any shots, but we ended up finding a team down in the turtle next to us, and I think we ended up getting a little bit of control in this box, and I kind of called it out, but I didn't really think about it, and I didn't really look exactly to see what they're actually doing in that box, because I think my idea was just to try to get something in there, maybe a nade or something like that, because I saw that they had it open, and I was ready to make a play, and so I said, Bumpa, there's people over here, but I didn't think about it at all, and I didn't look what this guy's doing, so I edit this open, and I'm okay, but there's a guy, he's just sitting right here, just paying attention to us, and he just easily claps Bumpa, and he gets knocked. They shoot a rocket in there, they try to control this wall, and they try to go aggressive, but then they get exploded to themselves, and then we get exploded from like 3 different teams. I'm just building like crazy. I'm just literally spam building, like just trying to stay alive, and then I end up getting Bumpa like down here, and we end up getting pretty safe. I pick him up, and then we immediately have to rotate. We rotate like back through our turtle and over this, and we just build up, and I think we just like fly from here. So for the end of game one, I'm about to expose us because we had probably the most embarrassing death of all time here, but luckily it wasn't shown on stream. I've kind of told the story a few times to a few different people, but here you can see in this clip how the zone is kind of near shadow zone area. We were right on the edge and needed to go up the mountain. We had low mats, so we decided let's use one of these shadow bouncers to try to get in zone, so we have to kind of like rotate around and use it back in the direction we came from. And so zone starts moving and we start making a play. Bumpa accidentally bounces into the zone. I'm like, oh, okay, nice bounce, nice bounce. So I just follow him because I thought that we'd be good, and we realize, yeah, we're in the zone, and that's how we both died a zone in game one. But as a retrospective look, directly after the next game, we kind of ignored our idiocy and we talked about like how bad our setup was, which was the biggest problem going to that game, and not bouncing into the zone. So we didn't get the greatest position, and we certainly didn't get the best materials or loadout. So we said we must fight and win Pleasant if we want any chance of getting a good setup, because if you try to rotate and look for your second options, your third options, everything is so congested and hard to find any secondary loot options, secondary mat options. So we decided we need to fight in Pleasant. So with that being said, here is the fight as it unfolded in game two. It was the same thing that happened. We pushed from brick and they turtled down. We played more aggressive. We played way more aggressively, and we got an early knock, and then we make a big mistake because I call clingers, but I don't specify that he's clingering us. So Bumpa thinks they are mine and gets hit with it. It's not necessarily a great assumption on Bumpa's part, but still I could have been cleaner with my comms. And then we make another crucial mistake because we've been working on splitting and getting at multiple angles to go after people. So I'm going from the outside wall on the left, and I leave him out to dry, and I don't tell him slow down your pressure. So I leave him out to dry. He gets popped here after getting hit with the clinger as well. But I end up cleaning up after that with a partial mistakes. Like everybody says that this play was the best. But I could have, for example, right here, I could have not peeked this because I knew that this peek on the triangle wall is not the greatest. He has a better angle on my body, and I don't have the headshot angle. So we basically are trading bad body shots. I should have done the half wall edit ahead of time. But I ended up cleaning up, but in a much, much worse position now that Bump is down. So just because you're down a teammate doesn't mean you can't make it to endgame. Here I am turtling in the mid-ground on Tomato Temple in game 2 after narrowly escaping a few psychos and making some crazy risky rotates. I end up in a decent position with decent mats and some good heals. I have a med kit and I think I have one more big pot. So And here is the mid-ground rotate. You can actually see I'm one or two stories above Gunfly, where Baldy is, and Chap actually is fighting Baldy. He takes out Baldy, and then I get Chap in the back, and we're going into the late end game now. In this overview, we can actually see the player pool thinning, and you can see me pressuring Kiwi Face and Legit. I almost take out Kiwi Face, but even though I get a good crack, I think they're going to be able to hold me off, and I need to keep moving, otherwise somebody else is going to get me, so I need to reposition. That's my idea. But here's the heartbreaker. You can actually see me under Saf hanging out near Kiwi Face and Legit, who actually got healed back up. So maybe it would have been better to continue pressuring and get those 2 kills for another point, but I didn't really know they were low, so I couldn't really make that decision. But I do have that medkit, and I'm going to try to sneak into second or third with an off heal. Unfortunately, we don't see it, but I do scuff and edit, and I end up needing to try to medkit because I'm behind a wall and I need to start off healing right away. But my medkit isn't in the correct slot; it's in my 3 slot instead of my 5 slot. So I try to press 5, nothing happens, the medkit doesn't come up, and I don't get it off in time. But it's not over. I end up dropping down, and here in Saf's POV, I'm basically doing exactly the same thing as Saf, is just running in the zone looking for people. And most people actually went for off heals, so I actually do outlast a lot of people because my off heal was going to be a lot later than them. I was trying to creep with the zone. But I do find Yo-Yo, which is the more important fact. I find Yo-Yo for another kill. Not another point, but another kill. And I end up in 5th. So we got 2 points in this game with 4 kills and 5th place. So it's not bad for an early bump exit. We actually end up getting 2 points there, which is really good. So, game 3, what happened? Where did we go? Well, Pleasant was super hot. Wildcard dropped here. Sen almost dropped. The same people from game 1 and 2, which was PG, Hex, and Cynical. Jared FPS and Crixie Kiss dropped here. So we had 5 total teams in Pleasant, counting us. So this is not okay, and we kind of hard panicked and didn't glide well at all. We also had a team that dropped on the castle and shot at me before I even landed. So we ended up getting into a 50-50 with Wildcard at Doghouse, as you can see on the map. Bumpa didn't get much play. I think he got like a gray pistol or something like that, but I did manage to knock Bowman, I think, with a great burst, but Alpha Amons cleaned me up, and we spent the next 30 minutes staring at the lobby. So in retrospect, we should have been more patient, watched the glide a little bit better, and done one of our early exit strategies that we had practiced. We can actually also see that on this map, you can see gas, basement, and modern are empty, so we could easily switch it up and gone to those and done one of our quick exit plays towards Leaky Lake, towards Motel, towards any one of the places that we normally think about for extra loot. The Loot Lake Factories, for example. If one place is hot, especially your drop spot, that means a lot of other places are less hot, right? If people spread out along the map, a lot of people get uncontested, and there's probably empty spots. If Pleasant is this hot, and if Tilt is that hot, like we can see Tilted is crazy hot as well. So that's game 3. Nothing else to say about it. Alright, we have lots to say about game 4. Going into this, we had 2 points. We knew we needed at least 2 more points to have even a slight chance just based on watching the other heats. We already knew it was going to be hot because of the last game, so we learned from our mistake and go to our basement/modern split. Here we already noticed that Wildcard was getting aggressive from Dog to Brick and following Aspect towards the west side where Rio is, so we start trying to follow up behind and squeeze everybody together, as opposed to going through the center, going through Pavilion. So this is the pre-fight situation where Rio is already down and Hex and Cynical are also down, and so all that's left is both Wildcard players and Aspect. We ended up on Brick, and our goal from Brick is to push Wildcard even further into the fight at Treehouse because we don't really know the full situation yet and we can't see it from the overview. So we explode spam and we follow up with a push after getting a few good tags. We split one coming from the right side and one coming from the front to get multiple angles. You see me go to the right and Bumpa goes straight on, and we end up with a 2v1 squeeze against Bowman because Aspect has kept Alpha Amons occupied down below, a result of us squeezing them in the way that we did. So Bowman goes down while we maintain height advantage, and Alpha Amons rifts out from the pressure by Aspect and myself. And during this rift, Bumpa goes through it to try to get an overview and reestablish ultimate height, and during this he actually spots the other team rifting on us, so we end up in a predicament because I didn't take the rift. I knew Aspect was still around. We were both running low on mats, so Bumpa has to stay up on high ground to not give up his good position because of the low mat situation. He starts fighting and I'm keeping Aspect at bay. I'm just trying to push him off, and Bumpa initiates the fight up top, and I support Bumpa with some spray to knock a player down, which actually forces Bumpa into 2 1v1s, and he wins each of those and earns himself this tweet from Arctic.
Is he going to be able to land a shot? He needs one more to follow up. Pistol.
Wow. Coins is down.
Bump finds Coates, and look, oh no, he needs a teammate to come through and back him up.
I clean up Aspect, who's playing very scared and conservative. I think he was low mats and low HP. So at this point, we're at 4 kills, and we need one more kill for the 2 points we needed to get 4 total and give us a shot to qualify. This fight took forever, so we're kind of hosed for mats, and we do what we can and try to rotate out. But this is when we get caught by Swag Noodles and Solo gatekeeping us while rotating out of the zone. We didn't properly split bandages, so I end up being very low, and I have to push out of the zone prematurely. Otherwise, I'll just die to the zone. But yeah, it's a rough situation. Bumper just hits these nasty clutch shots and gets us 6 kills and the 2nd point. So not really much else we could have done there except know this was coming, because this was a very obvious situation that's going to come, and we should split the bandages properly. But it would have been super rough regardless, because neither of us had shields, and we're taking damage from the storm, and we're split because I had to go first. So just really clutch by Bumper. This qualified us right here. These 2 clutch spams qualified us for the grand finals 100%. Last thing I want to touch on is how close we were not to qualify. And when I say we clutched, I mean we clutched. We squeezed in and got super lucky. Here are the final standings. Like if, for example, we didn't get that extra kill by Bumpa in that last game, or I didn't find that kill on Yo-Yo in the storm, we would have 90 limbs and possibly lose out to 13th place in the wild card. Everything adds up in these games. If you like that video, guys, please subscribe and like. And if you're interested in more content like this, follow me on my socials and on Twitch. Thanks for watching.